Hey, my name is Sam Furman, and I want to share with you a little bit about what I've learned about the supremacy of speed. And I've learned this from taking Mark Hoverson's new course called Solomon CEO 10 Million Plus. I'm gonna give you this video post. There's no way I can actually cover everything he talks about in this course, but I'm gonna give you this extreme value. And you're gonna have to excuse my office here. It's a little messy. I got boxes and stuff here. I just moved into a new place, and actually, this office is a great example for what I want to talk about and how how you can implement this into your life. But when we talk about supremacy of speed, this covers all areas, but specifically this is for entrepreneurs, although it can be applied to your personal life, and it's something that entrepreneurs will automatically apply to their life as they see the value of it. And so just to kind of give you the context of this, but we're going to be talking about the book of Proverbs, and whether you're religious or not, there's a lot of value that can be gained from the book of Proverbs, which is where these teachings come from. And when we talk about the first code of Solomon CEO 10 million plus, the supremacy of speed, specifically in business. I'm going to give you the first quote here, which is paraphrased from Proverbs 10:4, which is, "The slacker hands cause poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." And by slacker, we mean lazy, slow, later, those kinds of words uh, in reference to what we're talking about here. So, slacker hands cause poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. In the original interpretation, this was meant for the Israelis, and it was talking about the in the context of their country that or their nation, that they would become a great nation, a wealthy nation that kings and queens of the world would want to lend from. And when we're talking about wealth, it's important to understand there's a difference between just money and wealth, right? And when you really get into it, here's a great example. They talk about the hands of the diligent versus the slacker hands. Now, you've probably heard the stories of lottery winners, people who are in poverty, who have never had significant money or have any idea how to handle money. Suddenly, they acquire a lot of it very rapidly by winning the lottery. And then, strangely enough, and this seems to be a trend, that these people have some kind of tragic demise or downfall because of this money. They just can't handle it, and they end up spending all of it and it's gone. Well, in comparison to the diligent people use money and they apply the supremacy of speed to acquire that money to buy assets. And by assets, we mean things that continually produce um, more cash. And if you've read any of Robert Kiyosaki stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't, quickly, an asset is anything that continues to provide you money. It's think of it like a tree that instead of having fruit, it bears cash. So you harvest the cash, and it continues to give you more cash. An asset could be things like real estate investment properties. It could be anything that you create that brings you royalties, products you create, businesses that you own that produce revenue for you on their own. Not something that as a self-employed person or as an employee, those aren't really assets. But these are things that you create or that you acquire that continue to bring you streams of income. And multiple streams of income is something you've probably heard talked about before, but that's basically the idea. So applying this into your life, just imagine that you don't have slacker hands, that the word later or lazy has been removed from your vocabulary, and just close your eyes and imagine what it's like to acquire assets with speed. And with the supremacy of speed in business becomes very apparent, the urgency and the need for that. The sooner you can get things done, the better. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but it's important to pre-frame what we're talking about here. Um, Next quote that Mark talks about in his course in relation to the supremacy of speed: "The plans of the diligent surely lead to abundance, but the hasty surely leads to poverty." And by by abundance, we mean prosperity, plenty, or profit. And by hastily, we mean, hurried, chicken with your head cut off, or frazzled or busybody. So work for work's sake is not, necessarily good, or action without a plan. you have to, the diligent, the wealthy, the people who are prosperous, they have a plan in place, and then they rapidly implement that plan. They run with it. Um, so it's important to find people who help give you a plan and to run with it. And that's anyone. That could be people who are successful in the area that you're interested in business or whatever else you're working on, whatever niche you're in. It's not your broke Uncle Joe or your mom or maybe your dad unless they've done really well for themselves. I mean, usually our families are the worst ones. They try to give us advice, but they're broke. They don't have what we want a lot of times. So, you know, taking action for action's sake is not necessarily good or being quick. It's having a plan and then rapidly running with that plan and implementing it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how that's possible and how actually my mentor, he gives a great, Mark, he gives a great example about how 1 hour costs him 5 days because he waited to take action on something. But just briefly, I want to talk about this is kind of a long quote, but it's important, and I'll get to the root of it here. But here's kind of paraphrased. And this is from, and you can read it for yourself from Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20 through 33. That's wisdom calls out aloud outside. And sorry, I'm looking down my notes. She raises her voice in the marketplace. But you would not heed my voice. Therefore, I will mock when your terror comes. When your terror strikes like a storm, and your destruction comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish seize you, I will not be found, because they would have none of my counsel. Therefore they will eat the fruits of their own ways. The complacency of fools will destroy them, but whoever listens to me will dwell safely and will be secure without fear of evil. Now, that sounds pretty treacherous and pretty ominous. When you break it down, the original meaning was Proverbs was meant for young people, the young person to be prosperous. That was who the original audience was for. So it's important to take that into context. Now, use your imagination now to extract from that when they talk about complacency. When we talk about complacency, what I mean is it's I know what I should do, but I don't do it. That's complacency. And so I want you to imagine now that complacency is a thing that it just doesn't happen to you for you. Just close your eyes and imagine that for a second. And what's interesting, this is what I'm learning, and this is something I always thought, well, I don't want to burn out. I don't want to, grind it out all day. Let's just do reasonable steps. We'll do it today, a little bit tomorrow. And this is what I'm learning to change for myself, is that this is interesting that, in fact, I've tried this already, and it's been interesting, the results, is that you don't actually get tired from hustling. The exact opposite happens. And it happens because when you are complacent, it leads to guilt. And look down my notes here. Yeah, so when you're complacent, it leads to guilt. And then that leads to problems. And then you spend more mental energy and anguish thinking about those problems. And then you're super exhausted. Now, juxtaposition that with just busting your ass, hustling, getting stuff done, using the supremacy of speed in business and in life to get things done. It gives you a sense of of peace, of just happiness. It's more peace of mind. And basically the exact opposite. You don't become tired. You feel rested. You feel good because all your stuff now has been knocked out, and now you can have fun. And so having the speed to do whatever it is you need for your business. Whether it's to hire, fire, call someone. Get back to someone. Get your support team, people who are helping you build your business, to get that done. Whenever you're doing that, you're actually going to find that you're going to feel good hustling to get it done. Building your business on speed, you're going to find that your love of whatever it is that you do increases because of that. And okay, so I promised you a story about how 5 hours or how 1 hour can save 5 days. And if you're reading the blog below, Mark talks about essentially how he had a vendor and he had to call for a support person that he didn't call him till I think it was like 4, or I contacted him till 4 p.m. on a Thursday. Well, and it goes on to explain the story that that person is probably just a minimal wage earner. They just deal with support tickets all day, so they saw it coming at 4 o'clock. They're like, well, it's almost the end of the day. I'm not gonna. I'll deal with it tomorrow. So it doesn't get done, doesn't get processed till Friday, and then on Friday, well, this is a true story. On Friday, that guy who handles that problem isn't there, so then it goes through the weekend and it lands on that guy's desk, first thing Monday morning. And of course, that guy is slammed because he wasn't there on Friday and it's after the weekend, so he's got a lot to do. So maybe it doesn't get done till Tuesday, and then the new product doesn't ship out till Wednesday afternoon. Except that the postal carrier doesn't, comes on midday on that day, so they miss the cutoff and it goes into the next day. So then they pick it up on the following day, the package, and then it's got another day in transit. So because of 1 hour, if he would have called her at 3 p.m. instead of 4 p.m., he could have probably saved himself 5 days of grief. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And so, this post is running a little long, but here we go. So how can we take the supremacy of speed in business? What can we do to implement that in our lives? And that's really a big key to a lot of training. Sometimes it's missing is how to implement this into your life. And if you look in this, you can follow along in the blog post below. But basically, ask yourself 2 questions. Who is waiting on you right now? And I mean this in the full spectrum of your life. In business, your friends, family. You think about those things. Is it your contracts? Is it for me, is it my CPA? Waiting for me to do some tax stuff. Is it your clarity of intention? Is it one of your mentors? Is it someone in your downline? Are they waiting for something for you? Now think about your customers. Are they waiting for you for your offer for them? Are they waiting for the new deal? Are they waiting for a video that's going to speak to them? Or is it someone that you haven't even met yet who knows they need to make a change in their life and is waiting for your opportunity for you to show up in their life? Who's waiting on you? Go jot this down, make a list, get a piece of paper and just start brainstorming of everyone who's waiting on you. And as you list more and more, think more a little bit wider. Think about your body. What is your body waiting on for you? Is it you needing to eat better, get chiropractic care, better foods? What is your body waiting on? And then think about your friends. What are your friends waiting on? Are they waiting on you to tell them if you're going to go to the party or not? I mean, think about that. Or what about your neighbors? What are your neighbors waiting on from you? Maybe you borrowed a mower or something. What about your kids? Did you promise them some new clothes for school? So go through it, make a list of everything of people. Who is waiting on you? And you can pause this video and come back to it. Spend a couple minutes on it. And then the next question is, ask, who are you waiting for right now? Is it a vendor of yours? Is it a relative who's promised to come, give you their travel plans for the holidays? Is it a client and customer that, so I'll get back to you tomorrow about, the offer? Or, is it the neighbor that borrowed your weed whacker and now it's like, it's springtime, I need it back? Who are you waiting on? And create that list too, and just and expand that out into different areas of your life. And this is something I learned from Mark. He's an 8-figure earner who does this, who's implementing this, and I've started writing these lists down too. And so your action steps for the first question are to apply a radical do it now attitude. So for the who is waiting on you, for that first list you made, pull an all-nighter, which is what I'm doing here. It's got the light on, I'm ready, I'm just taking action. I have this huge list of stuff that I just learned today. These are all the people that are waiting on me right now to get stuff done. And I'm going to get as much done on this until I'm absolutely exhausted. And then I'm going to get up tomorrow and just keep going, because I know when I get through this list, I'm going to feel absolutely exhilarated. And I know you will too. So get these things done immediately and apply these strategies. And I think you're going to find a rebirth of energy. You're going to have a huge peace of mind, and this is something that you're going to be able to implement in your business as you start getting caught up. I mean, the list will never be done. There'll always be more to do, but you'll have a renewed sense of peace because you're not waiting anymore, that you're taking action immediately. And for the second question, for people who are waiting for you right now, who are you waiting for right now? People that you're waiting on. Yeah. So the first one was for who is waiting on you. And the second for who are you waiting for right now. The solution here is to apply pressure or verb, and by verb we mean energy and consistency. And we're going to use the because factor. You'll use it at least 3 times. Give them reasons why. It's like, hey, like I have a friend who owes me some money for a keyboard he bought, and he hasn't paid me yet. And I've been kind of a nice guy about it, but hey, I've reminded him a couple times, and it's just not. It needs to get done. It's my keyboard, and I have a some tax forms I'm waiting for my CPA from. But being able to use reasons like because you say, hey, hey, I'll say his name's well, hey Bob, because you have my keyboard and it's been several months now, and because I could use the money to put into my marketing, and because that you love music so much, and I know it probably makes you feel bad. Are you able to give me a little bit of money this month? Or as far as my CPA goes, hey, because I want to be able to get my tax return, because I want to be able to go out and buy another piece of real estate, and because I'm excited to become a successful entrepreneur, can you get my taxes done? Those are just kind of off the fly examples, but use that because, and give people reasons, to get stuff done for you rapidly. And these are things I'm going to be implementing in my own life, and these are things I've learned from a high level learner from Mark Overson. And I hope you find value in these things and that you'll be able to implement them to your life. So go ahead, don't even wait. Just put your phone on silent. Tell the kids you need at least an hour. Start writing these lists down and start implementing today. That is your action step, your call to action. And start implementing these things now today. If you want to learn more about our group and who I'm associated with Internet Lifestyles Network, go ahead and click the link below, and you can contact me or get in touch with me. I'd be happy to share a lot more value with you. So have a great day, and we'll see you on the next post. Peace.